while running super skilled elite soldiers decked with a varied sci-fi arsenal. Giant robots that fall from the sky and change the course of the battle. Titanfall 2 is an FPS game like no other. If you haven't played it, go play it. It's great. But despite its amazing moment-to-moment combat, great customization, and heaps of content, it never took off. Now, depending on how you view it, there are multiple people to blame. However, I have a different opinion that was formed from years of seeing the game get ignored by the general gaming community. I believe that the gaming community at large failed Titanfall 2. Now, I know that's a harsh opinion, especially since the narrative that's popular is that EA put Titanfall in this position with the awful release date between Battlefield and COD, two other massive shooters. And while the release of the game definitely shot them in the foot at release, the blame can only go so far. Here's why. Despite the fact that the release date did hinder the game's popularity at launch, a struggling launch does not mean that a game will fail. Look at games like Battlefield 4 or No Man's Sky. Honestly, the best example of this is Among Us of all things. Among Us was the game in 2020. You literally saw it everywhere. It was inescapable. However, guess what? Among Us actually came out in 2018. You know what else was popular in 2018? Fortnite. What happened to Titanfall 2 kind of happened to Among Us in 2018, but without the massive surge in popularity sometime eventually after the game came out. Among Us shows that games can succeed even after a disappointing launch. It also shows us that people playing a game is often the ultimate decider of a game being successful. Obviously. None of this happened with Titanfall 2. And it makes me sad that this is the case. I don't like saying it. I'm one of Titanfall 2's strongest soldiers. But I can't let that distract me from the fact that the reason this game didn't take off isn't because of EA releasing it between two massive franchises. It isn't because the game wasn't supported. Respawn definitely tried. The game got 11 great free content updates with paid cosmetics in the span of 14 months that added new skins, maps, modes, and even a whole new Titan. Despite us loyal, unwavering Titanfall 2 enjoyers logging on every single day, we just weren't enough. Nobody else wanted to play Titanfall 2. The game went on sale multiple times after release. And these prices were good prices too. It was a steal to get Titanfall 2 Ultimate Edition for like $7. But even then, with Respawn throwing everybody a bone to play it, people are just like, nah. People had a chance to give Titanfall 2 a fair try so many times, but never took it. And ultimately, it's on the gaming community for Titanfall 2's fading into obscurity. It especially hurt when people complained about awful treatment of consumers during this era of multiplayer games, but never choosing the game that respected players' time and wallets over the ones that don't. Like, people chose Apex over Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2's blood is on the gaming community's hands at this point, but that doesn't mean that can't change. If you're a Titanfall fan like me, then you've obviously seen how Titanfall 2 is somehow finally getting content updates after years of being left alone. And if you aren't a Titanfall fan, you've still probably seen people talking about this. Us Titanfall fans never shut up. Titanfall is finally being talked about again, and this time it isn't in the context of games that failed. And guess what? People are playing it again. And because people are playing it again, more people are coming back to the game as well. Even people who have never played it before are finally giving it a try. This is what I meant about player count determining success. Titanfall 2 is in the stage of a possible comeback similar to Among Us, just without that massive scale. We can all show that Titanfall, as a franchise, is one that can succeed. It can especially succeed in our current gaming era, where people love having advanced movement skills in their multiplayer games. Titanfall 2 truly was ahead of its time. I'll be playing Titanfall 2 this week, and so should you.